is share with you. A lot of people have said on meetings I've been in, and I feel the passion in my heart is that, in fact, my friends gave me the middle name Money because they told me I loved helping people make money so much. But I've rarely shared even a glimpse into what shaped my life, what shaped my passion, what gets me up early in the morning and keeps me up until late at night. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring up on the screen what God inspired me to write last night, and I'm going to do my very best to read it to you. This is very personal things to me. I've never shared the depth of some of these experiences like I'm going to share with you today. And I'm going to do it today because I want you to understand that we care about you. We love you. We have hope for you. We want to share that hope and give you hope. We have opportunity for you. We want to share that opportunity, give you opportunity, because with hope and opportunity, there is nothing that we cannot do together. So, one moment. So, people often ask me why I'm so passionate about helping real people win. That question is hard to answer without sharing at least a glimpse into my life and where that passion comes from. It's squarely centered on the words of faith, hope, love, and opportunity. But below you'll find the rest of the story. See, I wasn't born into wealth or comfort. I was born into struggle, into a world where we didn't measure richness in dollars, but in love, resilience, and faith. My family had very little, but my mother and father gave everything that they could. They worked endlessly, often late into the night, just to put food on the table for 10 hungry children. My father was a mechanic, covered in grease, sweat most days, didn't always smell so good, worked 80 hours a week because that's what survival demanded. My mother was the heart of our home, a woman of quiet strength who, somehow she managed to wrangle us 10 kids and to hold chaos together with undying patience and prayer. When I was a kid, we moved often, really too often, sometimes in the middle of the night. It just took one expected doctor's visit or dental emergency that could drain the little cash that we had and leave us unable to pay rent. I still remember when my mom, folding up cardboard boxes from a recent move and neatly putting them into the closet because she already knew that we're going to need those boxes again. It was heartbreaking to me, but at the same time, heroic as well. We were poor, but we were a family. We didn't have much, but we had love. And that love, fragile as it seemed, kept us alive. At school, I learned early how cruel the world could be. Because of the way we looked, our patched clothes, our worn out shoes, the smell of oil and sweat that sometimes followed us, we were truly treated like outsiders. We were the poor kids. It didn't matter how kind we were, how hard we tried, or how much we wanted to belong. Poverty in the eyes of the cruel was a reason to be mocked. They tripped us getting on the bus. They slammed us with books. They spat in our faces and laughed when we cried. Their words cut deeper than bruises. They didn't just call us names. They tried to convince us that we were less than human. I still remember one day as if it was yesterday. I was about 8 or 9 years old. I was standing alone in the bathroom, washing my hands under a rusted old faucet. And the windows in the bathroom were open. Back then we didn't have air conditioning too much in the public schools, but they had those windows that hinged at the top and folded out like this. And while standing there washing my hands, suddenly multiple hands, I felt them grab the top of my hair. And before I could react, even more people joined in. They yanked me upward until my feet lifted off the ground. They shook me violently as I screamed, kicked, and begged for help, but no one came. Not a teacher, not another child, just laughter echoing from the other side of that wall. When a teacher finally entered the boys' room, they dropped me like a rag doll and they ran. I fell hard against the tile, sobbing, not just from the pain, but from the cold realization that to them, my suffering didn't matter. I didn't matter. That kind of pain leaves a mark, but it also leaves a lesson. It taught me how it feels to be unseen, how it feels to be unheard, and how it feels to be unloved. And maybe, just maybe, that's why God sent me my friend, Leon Gibson. Leon was my first true friend. Although he's gone now, I remember him today. Excuse me. Leon was a kind, gentle soul, and he saw me for who I was when no one else did. To make matters worse, back in that time, it wasn't good to have a black friend. And yes, he was black, I was white. And but to us, it really didn't matter. We were just a couple of kids trying to survive in a world that didn't really know how to love. All right. The cruel world around us couldn't stand that. They couldn't stand our friendship. So the same boys who bullied me before now turned their hatred to both of us. They mocked my friend Leon relentlessly. They called him names I won't repeat, words that could poison your soul if you let them. And because I stood beside him, they came for me even more aggressively than ever before. Their hatred grew from a small flame to raging fire, and it was pretty obvious. They spat the most hateful words that you could ever imagine, but with a twist. They called me a lover. Well, they called me a lover of that N-word, right? A N-word lover. Because they wanted to shame me for standing beside my brother, and in a way, they were half right, actually. Yes, I was a lover of truth, a lover of justice, a lover of people for who they truly are. They were right. I loved Leon Gibson like my true blood brother. But they were completely wrong about who he was. No, he wasn't an N-word. He was a C-word, child of God. And you know what? So was I. I didn't feel it back then, but I know it because God told me now. Those experiences branded my soul. They carved into me a promise that I would never forget. I would never forget what it feels like to be unwanted, unseen, unloved. And that one day, I decided I would dedicate my life to lifting up the people in the world, especially the people that other people try to push down. So growing up in poverty, well, I made the decision at a young age, I wasn't going to be poor the rest of my life. I didn't like it. I'm sure nobody really does. And so I worked very, very hard every chance I got. I mowed lawns, dug ditches, cleaned yards, fixed cars beside my father. I helped my Uncle Al with his projects anytime he needed a hand. And I remember one job in particular. It was a job with a man named Mr. Cathcart, Mr. and Mrs. Cathcart. They were incredible people. See, he needed someone to dig up a broken clay sewer line that was full of roots. And he had to do it by hand because he couldn't get heavy equipment into his yard where the clay tiles were, where the clay pipes were. And he warned me that, hey, you might get your hands dirty, that I might get human waste on them. And at the same time, he offered me a $100 bill if I would do it. I looked in his eyes and I said, Sir, I'll dig until I'm covered with crap clear up to here as I drug my finger across the bottom of my lip. At the time, I didn't even really know what a $20 bill looked like, let alone a $100 bill. So every job that I did, I worked with gratitude because I knew what it was like to have nothing. I saved half of what I earned. I gave the other half to my family to help keep the lights on or buy food or whatever else we might need. And through God's grace, relentless faith, and the power He gave me to refuse to ever quit, I eventually built my first business. That one small business grew into 3 locations. It's actually out in Tyler, Texas, by the way, if any of you are familiar with the area. And those 3 businesses became a franchise company, one that literally helped hundreds of families build better lives. So to me, success was never about money. It was always been about that purpose. And the thing I loved about franchising is I discovered something profound, creating opportunity for real people who had never been given a chance. That became my calling, and it remains so today, helping real people win. That became the reason for me to wake up every morning, for me to stay up late every night, and for me to keep pushing forward and dream through any obstacle anybody could ever throw at me. So over the years, I've built national, international franchise companies. I've made a lot of money, but my mission was never really driven about money. You see, there's nothing wrong with money. It's not evil because you can do a lot of good with it. But that's not really what was in my heart. My heart, my purpose, my passion is to give others what I once needed most: hope and opportunity. Because hope alone inspires the soul. Opportunity alone opens the door. But together they can transform lives forever. And we want to positively transform lives all around the world. Hope is what keeps a child believing that there is more to life than pain. Hope helps a single mother find strength when the world tries to crush her. Hope lets a man rise from the ashes of poverty and turn his suffering into service. People often ask me, who is MomentumTech? Really, who is James Penny and the efforts that me and my great partners like Ed Garza and Dr. Breakthrough and Christine Dean, that we offer irregardless of what name you put on it. Well, we're for real people, the ones who've been pushed down, counted out, laughed at, used, abused, and not just told that they weren't enough, were attacked in a way that people tried to make them believe that they were not just not enough, but they weren't even human. So who's the kind of person that we really want as part of our organization? So I have a few questions for you. Have you ever felt hopeless? Have you ever had to choose between rent and food? Have you ever packed your belongings in the middle of the night and started over? Have you ever been kicked down when all you were doing was try to rise up and do something good? Have you ever been laughed at for dreaming too big? Have you ever felt invisible, unseen, unheard, or unloved? Have you ever been called names that weren't true and stood tall anyway? Have you ever been exhausted, ready to quit, but something inside whispered, keep going, just one more step, you're almost there? Well, if that's you, then you've arrived. You've found the right community, the community that's built on hope, love, and opportunity. And you found a family. We're not just business partners. We're not just team members, but in my heart of hearts, we're family, and we believe in you. You're now part of a team. You're now part of a team that's dedicated to your success, because your success is the success of real people. I mean, real people. That's been my passion. People who grew up like me, who had nothing. MomentumTech isn't just a company, it's a mission. It's a place where broken dreams find restoration, where faith meets innovation, and where ordinary people create extraordinary results together. My life experiences didn't just shape me, they gave me purpose. They taught me that the most powerful thing that we can ever give another human being is hope. Because when you combine hope with opportunity, you truly ignite something that is unstoppable. And that is our mission. That's what drives me. That's what I was born for. That's what I'll spend the rest of my life doing, helping the world remember that every single person, regardless of your color, your accent, what language you speak, what circumstance you grow up in these crazy lines people draw all around God's big, beautiful, open world. Well, guess what? Regardless of that, we want to remind that you are a child of God. Because when people have hope, opportunity, and community that believes in them, they don't just survive, they rise. Folks, that is our mission. This is the reason why, for myself, and I know Ed has a story, and I know Dr. Breakthrough, this story has broken my heart so many times, Christine as well. But we're just regular people just like you, and our mission is to really help empower regular people like you to make a positive difference all around the globe. So as we move forward in this new venture, yes, there are going to be some times that we're celebrating, we're having a great time, but just like any new adventure, there's going to be some tough times out there where we have to struggle a little bit, we have to dig a little deeper, we have to work a little bit harder. But together, as a team, there's no obstacle that we can't break through. There's no mountain that we can't climb. There's no goal that we can't reach. And there's no human being on this planet that we won't share kindness, care, love to, and do our absolute best to give them some hope and opportunity. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my friend Christine Dean, the world-renowned networking diva who knows she's more connected than AT&T and T-Mobile and Verizon and all those others combined. So Christine, Dean, thank you for being here, my friend.